The HOA president smirked as she parked her Tesla sideways in front of my logging gate, for the 5th time that week. "You can't touch it," she said. "HOA rules." She didn't know the road was mine. She didn't know the gate was mine. And she definitely didn't know the logging truck coming downhill couldn't stop. If you'd driven past my land in northern Oregon, you'd never guess how much trouble that narrow gravel road caused. Tall Douglas firs lined both sides, their tops swaying like they were whispering secrets to each other. The road curved gently uphill, ending at a steel logging gate painted forest green, with a small sign bolted to it. Private timber access, no parking, no trespassing. Most people respected it. The Silver Pines Estates Homeowners Association did not. I bought the land 3 years earlier, 47 acres of timber, an old equipment shed, and legal access rights dating back to the 1970s. I wasn't part of Silver Pines Estates, the upscale HOA neighborhood that bordered my land like an unwanted tumor of beige houses and Teslas. I logged selectively, sustainably, quietly, a few weeks each year. That was enough to make the HOA hate me. According to them, my trucks were loud, my gate was unsightly, and my road was confusing residents. They claimed it was a public road. It wasn't. I had the deed, the survey, the easement documents, the county records. But HOA Karens don't care about facts. They care about control. Her name was Melissa Crowley, but everyone called her Karen. She was the HOA president, drove a pearl-white Tesla Model Y, and spoke exclusively in that syrupy, condescending tone people use when they think rules are weapons. The first time she parked in front of my gate, I assumed it was a mistake. I walked up, knocked on her window, and said politely, "Ma'am, this is a private logging access. I need to get a truck through." She didn't even roll the window down. She cracked it. "This road is used by our residents," she said. "The HOA has jurisdiction." "I own it," I replied calmly. She smiled. "Then sue us." And she walked away. Once as an accident. Twice as rude. 5 times as a message. Every morning that week, her Tesla appeared, parked perfectly sideways, blocking the gate completely. Always during logging hours. Always when my crew was scheduled. I left notes. I emailed the HOA. I sent certified letters with copies of the deed. No response. Instead, I received a violation notice. Unapproved industrial activity. Visual blight. Unauthorized gate construction. They fined me $500. That's when I knew this wasn't about parking. It was about dominance. On Friday morning, I finally caught her in the act. She parked, got out, locked the Tesla, and turned toward me with that same smile. "You're blocking active equipment access," I said. "That's dangerous." She folded her arms. "You wouldn't dare touch my car. I'm asking you to move it." She leaned in, lowered her voice, and said, "If anything happens to my Tesla, I'll own everything you have." Then she pointed up the road. "You loggers think you're above the rules. You're not." She walked away and left her Tesla right in front of a fully loaded logging truck scheduled to come downhill at noon. At 11:42 a.m., my phone rang. "Truck's rolling," my driver, Hank, said over the radio. "Brake pressure's good, but it's heavy." "How heavy?" 42 tons. "Wet logs." I looked at the gate. And the Tesla. "Hank," I said slowly, "do not approach the gate until I confirm it's clear." There was silence. Then he said, "Boss, road's steep. I'm already committed." My stomach dropped. A fully loaded logging truck doesn't stop on a dime. Not downhill. Not on gravel. Not with 40 tons pushing from behind. I ran. I waved. I screamed. Karen wasn't there. And then I heard it, the low, rising growl of diesel engine braking fighting gravity. The Tesla sat silently. Arrogantly. Perfectly still. The truck rounded the bend. Hank saw the Tesla. I saw Hank's eyes widen through the windshield. He hit the brakes. The tires locked. The logs shifted. Metal screamed. And then, crunch. The Tesla folded like a soda can. Glass exploded. Steel bent. The gate shuddered but held. The logging truck finally stopped, its front bumper resting on what used to be the hood of a $70,000 electric car. Silence followed. Birds scattered. Dust settled. And somewhere far down the HOA street, a woman screamed. She came running in heels. "Oh my God," she shrieked. "What did you do?" She dropped to her knees beside the wreck. "My Tesla. My car." I stood there, heart pounding but calm. "You parked in a posted no parking zone," I said. "On private industrial access. During scheduled logging operations. She rounded on me. I'm calling the police. I already did, I replied. The sheriff arrived first. Then county road officials. Then an HOA lawyer who showed up breathless and confused. Karen shouted. Threatened. Cried. The sheriff asked one question. Who owns the road? I handed him the deed. The survey. The easement. The logging permit. Karen went quiet. Very quiet. The sheriff turned to her. Ma'am, you blocked commercial equipment access. That's not. You caused a traffic hazard. But H.O. This isn't HOA land. She looked at the crushed Tesla. Then at me. And for the first time, she looked scared. The crushed Tesla sat there like a monument to bad decisions. County deputies taped off the area. Hank climbed down from the logging truck, pale but steady. He hadn't done anything wrong, everyone knew that, but when 42 tons meets poor judgment, the paperwork always gets thick. Karen stood 10 feet away, arms wrapped around herself, mascara streaking down her face. Her confidence was gone. The smirk had evaporated. What remained was raw panic. Her phone buzzed nonstop. HOA board members. Her husband. Her insurance company. She ignored them all and kept staring at the wreck as if it might magically reassemble itself. It didn't. The sheriff took statements carefully. Hank explained the grade, the load weight, the braking distance. I explained the gate, the signage, the prior warnings. Even 2 of my crew confirmed Karen had parked there intentionally, again. Then came the key moment. The deputy walked up to the gate and photographed the sign. Private timber access, no parking. He turned to Karen. Did you see this sign? She hesitated. Yes, but. Did you understand it? Yes. And you parked here anyway? She opened her mouth. Closed it. The deputy wrote something down and nodded slowly. That nod told me everything. The HOA's attorney, slick hair, expensive suit, smelled like arrogance, finally spoke. This is an HOA matter, he said. We'll handle liability internally. The sheriff looked at him like he'd just suggested handling a bank robbery with a bake sale. No, the sheriff replied. This is a private industrial accident on private land. He pointed at me. And his paperwork is clean. The lawyer blinked. Excuse me? You want to dispute ownership, the sheriff continued. You do it in civil court. Until then, stay off his road. The lawyer looked at Karen. Karen didn't look back. Karen's insurance adjuster arrived the next day. He walked the scene. Measured skid marks. Photographed the signage. Pulled county property records. Then he pulled Karen aside. I didn't hear everything. But I heard enough. Negligent parking. Knowingly blocking industrial access. Claim denial. Karen's face drained of color. What do you mean denied? She whispered. The adjuster didn't whisper back. 2 weeks later I was served. The HOA sued me. They claimed unsafe operations, improper signage, unauthorized commercial use, emotional distress. Yes, really? They wanted damages. They wanted control of the road. They wanted me to settle quietly. They had no idea who they were dealing with. My attorney smiled when he read the filing. This, he said, tapping the papers, is going to hurt them. Discovery began. Emails. Meeting minutes. Internal HOA messages. That's when we found it. Karen had ordered residents to park along my road to assert HOA control. She'd bragged about it in writing. One email ended with, "They'll fold. They always do." My attorney leaned back in his chair. They're done. The courtroom was packed. HOA board members sat stiffly together. Karen sat alone. The judge listened patiently as the HOA attorney spoke about community rights and shared access. Then my attorney stood. He introduced the deed, the surveys, the county permits, the warning emails, and finally, Karen's own messages. The judge adjusted his glasses. Ms. Crowley, he asked, did you direct residents to block this access? Karen's lawyer tried to object. Too late. She answered. Yes. The courtroom went silent. The judge didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. This court finds, he said, that the HOA knowingly interfered with lawful industrial access. He ruled. The HOA had zero jurisdiction over my road. Karen was personally liable. The HOA owed damages and legal fees. A permanent injunction barred HOA interference. Karen stared at the bench like it had betrayed her. Karen resigned that afternoon. The HOA president position became radioactive overnight. Residents demanded audits. Turns out the Tesla incident was just the beginning. Unauthorized fines. Selective enforcement. Misused HOA funds. Once people realized the HOA didn't own everything, they stopped being afraid. I upgraded the gate. Heavier steel. Cameras. Reflective signage. Logging continued, quietly, legally, professionally. No one parked there again. Ever. Sometimes I'd see a Tesla slow down at the bend, then keep driving. After the court ruling, something changed in Silver Pines Estates. People started waving at me. Not the polite HOA wave, the nervous one people give when they're afraid to be seen talking to the enemy, but real waves. Friendly waves. Curious waves. One man even stopped his pickup near the gate. "You really beat them?" he asked. "I didn't beat anyone," I said. "I just showed paperwork." He laughed bitterly. "Wish I'd done that years ago." That was the first crack. Her name was Denise. Mid-40s. Nurse. Lived 3 houses down from Karen. She showed up at my gate one afternoon holding a folder like it was radioactive. "I shouldn't be here," she said. "You don't have to be," I replied. She swallowed. "They fine me for a basketball hoop. Then used the money for community improvements." She opened the folder. Receipts. Invoices. Credit card statements. Most weren't for community improvements. They were for restaurants. Luxury landscaping at Karen's house. Consulting fees paid to Karen's cousin. Denise's hands shook. She said if I talked, she'd lean my house. I took a slow breath. You're not alone anymore. Once one person talks, others follow. Emails poured in. Door knocks increased. By the end of the month, I had a binder thicker than a phone book filled with HOA abuse. Selective fines. Harassment. Threatened foreclosures. Fake violations. All signed by Karen. Always Karen. Karen stopped driving the white Tesla. Insurance had denied the claim. The bank still wanted payments. I heard through the grapevine she'd taken a loan just to cover legal fees. She avoided eye contact now. When she did see me, her face hardened, not with confidence but resentment. Like I'd taken something from her. I hadn't. She'd handed it over. This time I wasn't the defendant. I was a witness. A group of homeowners filed a class action lawsuit against the HOA board and Karen personally. Fraud. Breach of fiduciary duty. Harassment. Misappropriation of funds. My road incident wasn't the center of the case. It was the spark. Depositions are brutal. No speeches. No emotion. Just facts. Karen didn't handle it well. She contradicted herself. Forgot dates. Denied emails that were projected on a screen behind her. At one point she snapped. I was protecting the community. The attorney leaned forward. From what? She didn't answer. Local news picked up the story. They loved the headline. HOA president loses control after blocking logging access. The image they ran? The crushed Tesla. People laughed. But more importantly, people paid attention. HOAs across the county started getting nervous. Boards quietly backed off questionable rules. Power doesn't like exposure. Karen's husband left. Moved out quietly. No drama. No explanation. Her social media vanished. Her allies on the board resigned one by one. When the court finally ruled in the class action case, it was decisive. Karen was ordered to repay misused funds, cover damages, pay legal fees. The HOA insurance refused coverage. She filed for bankruptcy 3 months later. Silver Pines Estates elected a new board. First action? They repealed half the rules. Second action? They sent me a letter. Not a demand. An apology. We acknowledge the road is private and regret prior interference. I framed it, hung it in the equipment shed, right next to the deed. Logging season came and went. No blockades. No complaints. No Teslas anywhere near the gate. The forest grew quiet again. Just wind. Chainsaws. Work done right. Exactly how it should have been from the start.